Hey guys, and welcome to today's episode of Ask Alli. So today I'm going to be discussing keratin treatments with you guys. A few of you have asked me to talk about this for a while now, and I just haven't really had the opportunity. And also, I've just been lazy and didn't make the video, so I'm doing it now. First question, what the hell is keratin? Keratin is actually the protein that makes up your hair and your nails. And the keratin treatment is this sort of goopy liquid concoction that works to sort of fill in the less dense areas of the hair follicle, which kind of allows for a smoothing effect. So that's keratin. Now, what are some of the myths or misinterpretations of the keratin treatment? Myth number one, keratin is a straightening treatment. Wrong. It is not a straightening treatment. Keratin is a smoothing treatment. Now, what this means is, depending on the type of hair that you have, you might get sort of more of a straightening effect. However, if I were to let my hair air dry after a shower, it would dry with a slight wave. It does not completely eliminate the curl that your hair naturally has. Myth number two, all straightening or smoothing treatments are exactly the same. Wrong again. One of the things that people tried to recommend to me before I knew what was going on with this kind of treatments was a Brazilian blowout. I did a little bit more research on that, and essentially, yes, it is the same idea as a keratin. It is a smoothing treatment, although they sort of market that one as a straightening treatment, like a permanent straightening treatment for your hair. That treatment has like dangerous levels of formaldehyde. It has actually caused women in some cases to lose chunks of their hair. I don't know if they grew back, I don't know what the situation was or who did these treatments to these women, but some horrible stuff has happened. So I would not recommend doing that if I were you. I'm not saying that they're all like that because, you know, it's kind of based on the professional and based on the salon, and also obviously based on the product that they're using, and it also depends on the percentage of chemicals that are in the mixture, but I've heard nothing but bad stuff about the Brazilian blowout. No offense to Brazilians. Myth number three, this treatment does the same thing for every single person that gets it, no matter what type of hair they have. Wrong. Again, it totally depends on the type of hair that you have. Mine is very fine. I don't have to get these treatments very often. It lasts for a very long time. I also don't wash my hair that much. It definitely depends on how curly your hair is to begin with, how, coarse your hair is to begin with. All of those things definitely will affect your final outcome when you get your keratin treatment. Myth number four, it's poisonous! No, it's not poisonous. Granted, it's probably not great to be putting all kinds of chemicals all over your face and head, but that's what we do every day, like all the time. So I'm not too concerned about it. I've been doing it for over a year. I haven't had any issues. My hair hasn't thinned out. It hasn't gotten thicker. I haven't had hair growing in weird directions or any patchiness or baldness or dryness or irritation or anything whatsoever. I've heard from some women that when they get keratin treatments, the treatment itself is actually irritating, like it burns their eyes and stuff like that, and I've never really had that happen. Now I'm going to explain to you the process of getting a keratin treatment. First step, wash your hair. Twice. They usually use some kind of purifying or super cleansing shampoo to make sure that they strip all of the oils and any old products completely off your hair. Step number two, dry the hair a little bit. They don't do like a full blowout, and my hair is actually a little bit damp when they apply the keratin to it. Step number three, apply the keratin. They just use, a brush like what they would use to apply highlights or dye to your hair, and they work basically from the roots to the ends, and then they kind of fold it all up onto your head, and then they put a lovely shower cap over your entire head and leave you to process for 20 minutes. In this 20-minute time, the keratin is infusing and doing its magical work with your hair, and then once they take your lovely shower cap away, they give you a blowout. Now, they don't worry too much about straightening your hair at this point. They just want to make sure that the keratin is completely dry before they move on to the final step, which is the heat sealing. The heat sealing is basically when they flat iron your hair for like a day. They sit there and, no lie, go over the same section of hair like 6 to 10 times. The reason that they're doing this is because the heat actually helps to seal the product onto your hair shaft. Otherwise, without this step, you would just wash it all out and it would be a huge waste of time and money. Then after an agonizing 72 hours of a grease ball head and no hair washing, you go back into your salon, you have a magical hair washing session, and they blow out your hair so you can see your newly finished keratin treatment officially totally done about 3 days after you first apply it. This is a great moment. It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. It's wonderful. It's really cool to be able to see the new you in the mirror, and everybody's treatment is different, like I said, so it's really cool to be able to see what it's going to do for you individually. Now let's talk pros and cons. Pros. Amazingly smooth hair that is completely resistant to humidity and moisture. It's especially beneficial for someone like me who lives in Florida, tropical climate, tons of humidity. Also, way shorter styling time. I would say that my blow dry time is probably 40 to 50% shorter than it was initially. Your hair feels way softer and also looks way shinier. It just makes your hair look incredibly healthy. If you do a lot of bleaching to your hair or you've dyed your hair a lot, professionals will recommend that you get a keratin treatment over your color to sort of restore the moisture and the healthy look that your hair had when it was virgin. This treatment is very long lasting. I've gone 6 months in between treatments and it's been totally fine. My hair has looked good. It wasn't, the way it was on day one, but they do last for a very long time. Now the length of the results that you see from this treatment are again going to depend completely on the type of hair that you have and mostly on how often you wash your hair. And now the cons. It's definitely insanely annoying to have to wait the 72-hour period when you first get the treatment put on. That's really not that big of a deal. It's just, something that bothers me. I find my hair getting a little bit more oily than normal. I have a pretty dry scalp and pretty sensitive skin as it is, but after these treatments I've found that I'm using dry shampoo a lot more frequently, and I also sort of have to be careful about touching my hair. I don't put my hands in my hair that much. You don't have to be that big of a stickler about it, but it's just something that I try to keep an eye on. Another con is that you have to be careful about the types of hair products that you're using once you have the treatment on your hair. You actually have to use a special shampoo, and there are a couple of different brands that make these shampoos that are specially for keratin treated hair, but you have to avoid anything with salt or sulfates. And the reason for this being that those, which are in almost all other shampoos, can strip the treatment right off your hair. If you go to the beach a lot, or if you have a saltwater pool, or if you have anything like that where your hair is going to be exposed to any kind of salt for a long period of time, you have to rinse it immediately after you have your hair wet by salty water. The last con, and probably the most serious one, is the cost of the treatment. The upfront cost is enough to make your head spin. Depending on who you go to and how much hair you have, you could be paying upwards of $300 for a keratin treatment. But hold on, before you guys say that's crazy and you would never pay that, let me break it down for you. If I were to color my hair, which I don't, I would be spending anywhere from $200 to $300 every couple of months. That adds up really quickly. Now a keratin treatment, let's say that lasts on average 3 months, is going to be $300 every 4 months, which means you're going to pay $1,200 in a year, which means you're going to pay $100 every single month, which means that works out to be way less than if you were coloring your hair all the time. Anyway, so I'm just trying to break it down so that you can see that, the upfront thing is really scary and it makes you not want to do it, but over a long period of time, it works out to be just about the same as any other treatment that you're going to pay for at a salon. So that's all I had to say about the keratin treatment. I'm an advocate of it just because I've lived with disgusting, frizzy, curly, insane hair that was totally unmanageable for the first 22 years of my life. I love curly hair and it works beautifully on some people, but in humidity and with the way that my hair is with mixed textures and mixed coarseness, it was just impossible to make it look right. So the keratin treatment has been my absolute best friend. I'm not being paid to talk about any of this. I'm not sponsored to talk about any of this. I just wanted to share my personal experience with you guys because I think this information is helpful. I hope that it's been helpful for you. Alright everybody, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of Ask Alli. If you have anything else that you would like to see me talk about here on this channel, please feel free to tweet me or write some ideas in the comments below. Alright, that's it everyone. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys. Bye!